Hello, hello, hello. Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you all are having a good one. I'm checking on Judge Gauthier's call. He's got another case up right now, but if they go to it, somebody tell me. Somebody tell me. I it looks like they just went off, so I don't know what else is going on. In the meantime, welcome to the Law Talk with Mike Valentine's Day special. And I've got something special for you here today. Yes. Wait, we got to move this
So I had a
out.
brief conference at the bench with
There we
the
go.
attorneys about possible sentencing.
Turns out we're
in
not in
this
the
matter.
36th District Court.
So Mr. Gilbert was here for a docket call.
Oh, yeah, the other one.
Got
Got Let's Talk with Mike on the back. All right, I'm just filling in here a little bit. I'm going to you know what I should do is add that there. All right, let me go back.
I have signed it by.
Mr. Greco, do you wish to enter a plea according to the terms of this agreement?
Yes.
Okay, would you please?
All right, so there are things live with Judge
Gauthier.
Gauthier.
What you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Can you tell me your full name, sir?
Anthony Michael Greco.
Yeah, Mr. Greco, a guilty plea hearing is a very important hearing because you'll be waiving constitutional.
Herbert's one of my favorites.
So I want you to listen very carefully.
Thank you, Manchara.
If you've got a doubt, question, or hesitation in your mind, either about what's happening or what you should be doing, I want you to speak up and say so, because we would give you some more time to talk with your attorney. Do you understand that?
Understood, Your Honor.
All right, now you're offering to plead guilty to count 1 in the felony information, which is a charge of forgery. In Michigan law, that's a felony crime punishable by up to 14 years in prison. Do you understand the maximum penalty that you could face for that charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you on probation or parole anywhere?
Yes, I am. I'm on probation in Alpena.
Okay. Do you understand, is that misdemeanor or felony probation?
Felony probation?
Okay, it's in the circuit court.
Yes.
Okay, do you understand that your guilty plea here could have a negative impact on your probation status in Alpena?
Has anyone seen any reference to our case this morning? If so, put it in the chat so I know. I was running around getting ready.
Any other case at the time of this incident?
Not that I know of.
Do you understand?
All of you with the Gauthier. Okay, Judge Gauthier. Now he's not going to know what you're talking about because they pronounce it Gauthier up there.
Did you read and understand the rights listed on this advice of rights form?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you sign that form?
Yes.
Do you understand? Actually, that's an out-of-date form. I'm going to go ahead and go through those rights.
I apologize, Your Honor.
That's fine. I think there's a 2019 form.
Thank you, IPT Zoomer.
All right, so I'm just going to quickly go over your jury trial rights, Mr. Greco. You would have the right to be tried by a jury, and at that trial to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, and at that trial to require the prosecutor.
I'm just a little paranoid from prior wild goose chases.
Understand those rights? At that trial,
it's always fun
right
anyway.
To have any witnesses against you appear, you would have the right to question those witnesses. And you'd have the right to present witnesses in your own defense and have me order them to appear. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And at that trial, you would have the right either to remain silent and not have the silence used against you in any way, or you'd have the right to testify in your own defense. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand by pleading guilty, you're giving up all those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that what you're choosing to do today? Now, if I accept your plea, you can't come back later on and tell me there was some other promise or some other threat that was made to get you to plead. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
If I accept your plea today, you can't come back later and tell me, well, it wasn't my own free choice to enter the plea that day. I was pressured. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Today would be the day to tell me that. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
There are also some limits on your appeal rights that I want to make sure you understand.
Yes, especially when you're before him.
By pleading guilty, you lose the right to appeal. And if you wanted to appeal, you have to get permission. And you do that by filing an application for leave to appeal.
Oh.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's a good question. Thank you, Patty, for pointing that out.
The types of issues you could raise on appeal are much more limited than if you were convicted after a trial.
wish I could
If
zoom
you were
in on that.
convicted after a trial, you could raise any issue you wanted at all. By entering a guilty plea, some issues are waived entirely. They're off the table. Do you understand that limitation?
Oh yeah.
Now, the plea agreement provides that in exchange for your plea of guilty to count one, the prosecutor will dismiss counts 2 and 3. There's also restitution agreed upon in the amount of $1,965. And there's a sentence, is it a recommendation or an agreement? It's under, it says recommendation, but is that an agreement?
It's a recommendation, strong
Okay.
recommendation, Judge.
Yeah, there's a recommendation for a 1-year county cap on any jail, and that's contingent on restitution being paid on or before the sentence. Do you understand that? And we talked at the bench about the sentencing date.
I love the
and to
speculation
give
in
you
the chat.
maximum
That's what's
chance
entertaining me at the
to,
moment.
get that paid. We were gonna put
He-
sentencing out.
He's reading him all this stuff because the guy's
Right.
pleading guilty. It's not interesting to me. I've
Now
sat
that
through it 1,000
recommendation,
times.
Do you understand it's not binding on me? I don't know anything about you or this case. I'm gonna learn a little bit right now.
Kentucky in the
Learn
house.
more
Thank
about
you,
the
Terry.
sentencing because they have a
$2.
Pre-sentence investigation report. So at the time of sentencing, if I wanted to give you more time, if it's appropriate, if that's what the guidelines call for or whatnot, I could do that. And you would not be allowed to withdraw your plea. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, the
I would be
prosecutor's
shocked if today does
recommendation
not end
carries
with
a lot of weight with
a
it,
bench
but it is
warrant
not
or
binding on the
contempt.
court.
I don't. Anything short of that will surprise the
Mr. Greco, do you understand all those terms of that?
heck
plea
out of me.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr.
Oh,
Gilbert, is that a full, fair, and accurate
I'm
statement of
so
those terms?
well
It is, Your
behaved.
Honor.
Mr. Radsbach?
Yes, it is, Judge.
Mr. Greco, has anybody promised you anything other than the terms of that agreement to get you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Has anybody?
Thank you,
threatened
Lewis
get you-
Davy. 2 pounds. Greetings from
Is it your
Scotland.
Free choice to plead guilty?
Oh, do I want to go to Scotland?
Knowing all this, how do you wish to plead to the charge of forgery? Guilty. Mr. Gilbert, would you establish?
I'm
factual
obsessed with
basis?
Scotland,
I'd be
and I
happy
wanted to
Sir, can you
go.
state your name for the record? Anthony Griffin.
And
I believe it was
I had a
last
couple
summer you got,
opportunities, but they
you
had all this
received a
craziness
check from an
with
individual?
paperwork. I'm like, I'm not doing
Do
it.
you remember about what month that was? But it was midsummer, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you received that check here in Presque County, did you not?
Yes.
And you took that information off that check and drafted another check to yourself using the data that was on the first check?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir.
All right.
And including signing of the person's name on that
Secret Skrull.
redone check.
Yes.
In essence, forging.
Be careful what you say. I'll be over there.
On the check, giving you money. Yes. And then that check was later cashed.
Yes.
Okay. And again,
I'll be
that-
eating all your
that
food.
Took place here in Presque County.
Yes.
Make a horrible
No
guest.
further questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Radsbach, do you agree that the factual basis has been established?
I do.
Dark Lord Disco.
All
I
right,
just
and
like the
Mr.
name.
Gilbert, are you aware of any other promises? threats,
Yeah,
or inducements?
I'm like,
Thank you.
Mr. Radsbach?
I know like I'm talking over this because it's not interesting,
Mr.
but I'm
Gilbert, your
like gripped
judgment
by
in
this
support
case.
fully
I really want him to
complied with the
call it.
Requirements of MCR 6.302.
Before it has, thank you.
Mr. Radsbach?
Yes, you have.
Mr. Greco, we've given you an awful lot of information and asked you a lot of questions.
Oh, that's it.
It's possible that some of that.
I need
may
to
have
embark
caused
on a
you to
world
change your
tour
mind,
and
which
visit
would be okay
all
at this
my
moment in
viewers
time.
because
As
they
soon
all
as you
live
walk out
in
the
better
door, it's a
places
lot
than me.
harder to withdraw guilty. So I want to confirm with
Thank
you
you.
one more time. How do you wish to plead the charge of forgery?
Guilty.
All right. Well, sir, I find that your plea is knowingly, understandingly, and voluntarily made, and that there is a sufficient reason in fact and in law.
Can you guys hear the?
Guilty
I
of
don't know what I
offense.
can do. Let me see if I can turn it up.
Plea. We'll schedule sentencing out a bit to maximize the success of that restitution. We'll schedule it for May 16th,
I've got it, Max. Can you hear the court?
and that'll be here in person in the courtroom. We had some testing issues that we were
Wrong.
for sentencing on a bond issue today. I'll go ahead
Oof.
and adjourn the bond violation.
Jackson Hole's one of my
sentencing
favorite
to the regular
places.
sentencing. So if there's no further. bond
Sorry, Heidi, I'm
violations,
coming over.
that shouldn't pose any problem.
Nothing you can do about it.
All right, anything further, and we'll continue bond. Anything further from the defense?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
No, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Greco, you're gonna want to pick up a business card from Agent Blaney over there, and so that you can make an appointment with him. He'll want to do an interview with you, so I have a report. I would presume you want me to know more about you today than just what you did with that check, right?
Thank you,
So
Lisa.
that pre-sentence interview is the way that he prepares a report, so I know more about you before sentence.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Hope you have something good to squeeze for Valentine's Day.
All right, next we have from page 12, People of the State of Michigan versus Angela Christensen. Do we have
Oh,
a-
it's on, like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it was. Okay, I just wanted to put it up there. Yeah, we don't need them. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
All right, so I'm calling the case of People versus Angela Christensen, file 21-93185FH. I did speak with the prosecuting attorney and the defense counsel off the record and was handed documentation that Ms. Christensen is in an inpatient treatment facility that covers today's court date. So I was presented with a stipulation and order to adjourn this hearing 1 month. And so, Mr. Radsbon, you have no objection to that? Mr. Radsbon, you have no objection to that? Okay. So I have signed that stipulation. So this docket call will be adjourned until March 14th at 10 a.m. It will continue to be ordered to be in person for Ms. Christensen.
Well, there you have it. At least something happened. They called it. She's in an inpatient program. That's probably where she needs to be. That surprised me. That is not. I thought she would. I thought a bench warrant would issue, or she'd show up and say crazy stuff and get held in contempt. The fact that she's in an inpatient treatment, you could say, oh, that's kind of a delay. But you know what? She could get out of this by acting normal too. All she would have to do is listen to her attorney, and they could probably cut a decent plea deal for her. So if this created consequences for her to seek treatment, I mean, I don't know her underlying thing, but I'm guessing she's impatient. She's got some that she's in treatment. You know what? I'm even assuming it's for addiction based upon her behavior. I could be wrong. I'm not. I'm just that is my gut feeling. That doesn't make it correct. But if she's getting treatment because of this, then ultimately this is a good thing. She's doing stuff, and if she's making these poor decisions because because she's not in her right mind due to substances, then oddly this is good. So they set it over for March 14th. It's interesting. Now I'm even more interested. I will try to be here March 14th. I'm even more interested because if she goes and gets treatment, we could have a whole different person coming back. So if she's in the grips of some addiction and all of a sudden she cleans out, she could just come back with, my bad, I shouldn't have done any of these things. I'll cooperate with my attorney. Let's do something reasonable and be done with it. If she came back with that scenario, now I still don't know the underlying charges. Her biggest charge is resisting. And I don't know how strongly she resisted. Like what did she do? Did she take a swing at a cop? Did she, was she just non-cooperative? What did she do? So there are big levels to that sort of thing. But in that scenario, generally speaking, if you acknowledge, hey, I was out of line, that gets you a long way. Maybe it doesn't get the charge dropped, but it probably gets it reduced or maybe even dropped under the right circumstances. Especially if you come back and say, I just completed 30 days inpatient treatment. And the reason why that actually has some credibility to me is if you're facing a murder rap and you say, oh, I need to deal with my addiction issues, which you probably do too, but you're looking at life in the penitentiary. You have your doubts as to how sincere that whole thing is, or whether it's just a delay tactic. Here, it's like you seek treatment because I've got a traffic with a resisting. Yes, I think it's a felony, but if you cooperated and acted normal, you could get it reduced to a misdemeanor. So it's not that big a deal. But my point is, the treatment is probably a bigger issue than whatever the judge would impose on her for this conduct. And therefore, I think it's legitimate. I honestly hope that this is a new start for her. I honestly hope that just this little entanglement and being forced into it made her face her issues and will help her going forward in life. Maybe I'm just outrageously optimistic. Maybe it's Valentine's Day and I'm just feeling in love. Maybe, just maybe, I'm in the 36th District Court. I'm not. We're definitely not in the 36th District Court. In fact, I can't remember what it was. Oh, it's 53rd Circuit Court. It's the 53rd Circuit Court. But anyway, it's sort of interesting. That's it. We didn't have any appearance, and that's exactly how that would happen too. If she goes into treatment, she can talk to the attorney. She got appointed counsel in the last appearance. She can talk to the attorney, and that's exactly what you do. Say, look, I can't get up there. I'm in this treatment facility. And the attorney, the PD that's assigned, is thinking, "Yay! I have something reasonable to say." Other than to watch you go down in flames. That is something the judge will respond to. You could see Judge Gauthier was like, yeah, okay, I've got no problem with that. If that's what's going on here, as long as that's not a sham, and I doubt that it is, it might be. But if that's it, she's going to rack up more charges. But if she's legitimately in a facility seeking treatment right now, it would take one crusty judge to be upset that she wasn't in court instead. Because in the hierarchy of her problems, that's probably higher than her court issue. I guess that's the best way to put this. So here's just reality and working itself out. It would have been nice to see her come crashing for support. Well, it'd be entertaining. But the humanitarian in me says, you know what, this is probably a good result for all. If she's doing, she's doing this stuff and she was making these conscious decisions, but I do think that that's secondary to a life spiral started by substance abuse. Again, I don't even know if she's on, but that's my guess. I'm speculating here. So that's what it is. But my guess is she's got a substance abuse issue. As a result of that, she has compounding problems in her life. And when you have those compounding problems, you reach for nonsense like sovereign citizen ideology because it takes away. Because the reason why it makes no sense, 0 sense, but it solves all your problems. If you say, I believe this, that justifies all your behavior. Even if you lose in court, you can tell other people, the court's wrong. This is my belief system. So I'm being congruent with my belief system. It's complete insanity, but it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me, the appeal to somebody on that path. So, wow, this is really, somebody give me the hook. This is the worst Law Talk with Mike video ever. I'm taking myself seriously. Yeah, let's forget this happened. Okay, let's forget all this happened. Come back on March 14th, and either one is interesting to me. If she has a change of heart and starts and gets her head straight, I think that would be a win and very interesting. Or if she comes back and doubles down, that'd be interesting. Either way, I kind of want to see how this drama ends. All right. So we're Dan from 3B District. Dan Torrance, $5. Thank you very much. All right. I think we're going to be out with 3B. And like I said, the plan is I'm trying to make sure that all my the current paperwork that you need to do gets done, but assuming it does, and I think it will, and I've taken the steps to do so, I should be sitting under a palm tree in a couple of days here. So thank you all for coming out. It was still interesting to me, even though she didn't appear. It was a very reasonable outcome that I just didn't consider, but that's court. That's court. I do that all the time. I've been doing this for 25 years. I show up to a court appearance, and every attorney, every human, you sit there and think, okay, what's the universe of possibilities? What are the reasonable things? Because I'm thinking, what are the reasonable outcomes, and what is my response to the judge in each outcome? If you're not doing that, you're not practicing law. I mean, it's not. I've never actually, I don't think, said this out loud. It's just obvious. It's just common sense. So you sit there and think, okay, with the cases I have up today, what are the possible outcomes? What do I want? What are my goals? What are the possible outcomes? And what are my responses to the potential things that opposing counsel is going to say? And and I looked at this, although I'm not in it, and I thought, well, she's either gonna show up and run her mouth and get held in contempt, or or a bench warrant's gonna issue. Nope. Number 3, she reports via her attorney that she's in a treatment program. I do wish her well. I hope it helps straighten her life up and help cleans her up. And here I am babbling on about drug treatment. I mean, she could be like, she could be recovering from a knee surgery. I don't know. I really don't. I just think it's the most likely. It's the most likely scenario from what I've observed, but that doesn't mean it is so. All right. Thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate it. See you soon.